We're going to call this meeting to order, 6:03 p.m. on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. My radio voice. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we can jump right into roll call.
Thank you. Chair Lawson,
Present?
Lisa Butler,
Present.
Mike Backyardy. Vice Chair Barron is excused, and did you talk to them?
Got a note from Jack.
Okay, and Jacqueline Hunt is excused as well. And Counselor Trista Papen told me she was going to be here tonight, so we'll keep an eye out for her.
Thank you. Well, first, hope everyone had a great holiday. I know this week is a bit rough for a lot of folks getting back into work and sleep schedules and things like that. So we'll try to go easy on everyone tonight. Right, Bill and Lori? Right.
Right, Bill?
The record reflects, Bill confirmed that it will go easy on us. We have quite a bit to get through. First order of business is going to be electing officers. So, because we have 3 out of the 5 here, we do have a quorum, then we can vote. However, are we able to vote for a committee member who is not currently present or on the line?
You can if you are fairly confident that they will accept. And also, should you want to, you could,
Yeah.
postpone it until you have all 5, or
Okay.
hopefully we'll have 2 new members by next month. But totally up to you guys to
Yeah,
make
what are
that
your
call.
thoughts on potentially postponing? I think I would like to have everyone here.
So especially if we're going to nominate one of the people who are not here, but
Yeah.
one of the positions.
Especially I know in the current vice chair's role, Chris, he currently has new things on his plate, so I'd like to kind of have more of a discussion surrounding that.
Okay, I will put that to the next meeting.
Thank you. Was there any public comment submitted ahead of time?
There was not.
And no one is here on the line. Ms. Akiwardi.
Hello.
There she is.
Yes. Nobody's screaming at the moment, so I figured it was safe to say hi.
Glad we have some lifers in the crowd. No public comment. We can move to the minutes from last session, which was in November. December was dedicated to the committee and commissions mixer, which was very well done, very tastefully done. Everyone had a great time. So thank you to the city and volunteers for all the work on that. November, we discussed the city ordinance language around the commission establishment. So we got into details of some of the, I guess, specific details and term lengths, some of the language or verbiage to use within the document that Bill was able to help guide and kind of edit as we go, as we went. And then we ultimately drafted that into a document we can review this evening as well. And then we discussed the UGB expansion effort update, and I'm sure we'll have more updates on that topic too, if not tonight, then down the line as well, as that is an ongoing project. Any questions or go backs on November's meeting minutes?
None for me.
We get a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. All right, now that we've approved November's meeting minutes, we can jump into some of the new items. First item is similar to the bylaw draft discussion, but it's more of a formality of establishing the meeting day of the month, the time and the frequency. In the bylaws, it states currently that we would meet at least once a quarter. And right now we're meeting once a month. And I think based on the discussion from the last few meetings, we wanted to maintain that same meeting cadence. But I just wanted to open it up. Does first Wednesday at 6 still work for everyone on this board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. I know 6 o'clock works best for me as well. So I do want to take into consideration city staff.
We like
review.
6 o'clock
Yeah,
and I like Wednesday because I
Okay.
already have other meetings on Wednesdays.
yeah.
Mondays and Wednesdays are kind of city meetings, so.
Bill, any preference?
Saturday mornings, Zoom in your jammies.
Cup of coffee?
No, no. No, the first Wednesday of the month is great. 6 o'clock is great. We do have, if there was discussion, we do have a calendar that shows all of the different city committee and council meetings. Sounds like maybe we don't have it, but we have one, we can access one. It's okay.
Yes,
And then Lori's brain has it all.
I do.
So
Right.
I'm just jabbing Lori a little bit here. That's all I'm doing. But the bottom line is that if there was discussion, we have the ability to say, these are the free nights. These are the nights that don't work from a conflict perspective.
Perfect. So I think do we need a formal motion to approve?
No, just a consensus is good.
Okay, I think we have a consensus.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll stick with the first Wednesday of the month, each month at 6 p.m.
Okay.
All right. So now the bulk of the discussion this evening will be surrounding the drafted document that was attached to the agenda. If you haven't had a chance to review yet, we can kind of go section by section. But ultimately, this is the bylaws of the EDC or the Economic Development Commission. Probably specify the mission bylaws. Quick overview. The Article 2, purpose and duties. Article 3 is membership. Gets into attendance, excuse me, officers, vacancies, removals, things of that nature. Article 4 is voting. Article 5 is meetings itself. 6 is subcommittees. 7, amendment to bylaws. 8 is ratification. That concludes the bylaws document. So running through each section, we can start with Article 2. Or I guess Article 1, does anyone have any issues with the name officially being established as the North Plains Economic Development Commission?
Chair Lawson,
Yes,
can I give a preamble to all this?
that would be great.
Okay. Because staff crafted this draft for you to massage and make your own, but I just want to kind of clarify some of that. So the city of North Plains, other boards and committees don't have a modern set of bylaws, at least that could be found. So the set of draft bylaws, the framework here that was pulled together was based on looking at bylaws for other economic development committees or commissions at other cities in Oregon. Okay, that by Oregon statute and probably other city ordinances have similar charge as this body does. Some EDCs are the Urban Renewal Agency, very different bylaws. But in terms of being a body that can advise city council and can advocate for economic and community development outcomes, as opposed to say the planning commission that makes recommendations on legislative matters, that sort of thing. These bylaws were put together in form and function based on examples from other cities of reasonably comparable EDC charge. Now, having said that, as you've looked through the document, there are sections where the text is bold-faced, and there are sections where the text is not bold-faced, but it's yellow highlighted. The bold-faced sections, the text itself, is either pulled directly from ordinance or it is from ordinance, but the sentence isn't exactly from ordinance. So it's not modifying any of those would require modifying the ordinance. So I guess what I mean to say is that everything that's in yellow is not an ordinance and is truly up to you all to determine. Okay. So you can, so that's all. A long story short, the areas highlighted in yellow are where you really get to kind of work on what you want. The stuff in the ordinance stuff, most bylaws for other committees are 75% regurgitating the ordinance, and that's why it's like that. Okay. So that's just kind of the preface to everything.
Thanks, Bill. That also probably saves us quite a bit of time. So thanks for that clarification.
Yeah.
Because I think we spent, a good amount of time reviewing and vetting the ordinance language that I think we're pretty trusting of that.
Yes, it looks very familiar.
Yes. So in that case, then we can probably just focus on the highlighted areas. The first of which is Article 3, membership. Section 2, which is attendance at city council meetings. So during regularly scheduled economic development commission meetings, the chair or the chair's designees shall appoint a member to report back to North Plains City Council. The purpose of the report will be to communicate to city council projects and matters before the EDC.
All right, I have one question immediately. Is there a thought on the cadence or timing of these reports back to city council?
Lisa, no. So this section shows up in some, but not all bylaws for EDCs elsewhere. For North Plains, the North Plains Economic Development Commission, of course, now has up to 7 members. But in addition, you have an ex officio member that's a member of city council on a rotating basis. Part of that person's responsibilities is to do a council report of what they saw at their EDC meeting that they were at. That's part of what they're supposed to do. But having said that, you have the option of having a member of the EDC to show up, either to write a written report and submit it to council, or show up and just give an EDC 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever. That's an option. And so this section represents an option for you to completely reject or massage it however you like, if you like the idea.
If we do like the idea, my mind's already going towards some type of standardized format we would develop, what our report would be, whether it's just taking notes, and then that appointed member, we could just kind of have on a rotating schedule. So each meeting would be someone new, and they would ultimately be responsible for submitting the report. However, to Bill's point, if there is a ex officio from city council at each meeting, then, I certainly don't want to double up on efforts.
Chair Lawson, just as a point of fact, and this is a fact, and the city recorder can verify this, the consistency of reporting to city council by ex officio members each meeting, it's not consistent. And, for various reasons, somebody missed the meeting. Somebody was late to the meeting. Something's going on, or another city councilor's report took a long time and they decided to kind of just curtail what they said. of their meeting that they went to and they were supposed to report on. And so having somebody, whether it's deliver a report or submit a report, and then one of you shows up and provides your summary, perhaps like a staff report or something, you get to assure that some kind of report, some kind of communication is happening, and it's from your perspective as the people working on whatever the thing is that you were working on. What I would suggest though is that at most, if you do this monthly or quarterly.
I was going to suggest quarterly, but open input from the other members.
Yeah, I like quarterly, especially if we are gonna have the goal of actually physically attending the meetings and giving a report. If it's essentially submitting a written report, that's why my mind went to trying to standardize that process as best as we can so that it's not kind of a huge undertaking. But I think quarterly is good. It also will help us stay on track on different projects we're working on, things we've accomplished. That's one area of improvement, I think, for this body is sometimes we'll get lost because we're chasing the next thing each meeting. So yeah, I think quarterly would be good. Quarterly's aligned with.
I mean, it truly is your choice. I just, it's just kind of every city council meeting, having somebody there, unless you really don't like who you've designated.
Right.
But, monthly, the second city council meeting is staff report and city manager. So if you wanted to do it monthly, that's a natural night to do it. Otherwise, quarterly is peachy.
If it's up to us, is there any language we need to put in if we want it to be somewhat of a rotating designee appointee for that role? Like if every quarter someone new steps into that reporting role?
I think as written, during regularly scheduled EDC meetings, the chair or the chair's designees shall appoint a member to report back to the North Plains City Council. I think that covers it.
Yeah.
It doesn't get specific about quarterly, and it doesn't get specific about who it is, but the chair is going to confirm who will be doing it that month or that quarter.
Right. Thank you. Section 3, officers, chair and vice chair will be elected by a majority vote of the EDC. Elected during the first meeting in the new year, serve a 1-year term. For this year, we obviously are postponing that to our next meeting in February. But I'm assuming our option here is whether we want it to be a majority vote or unanimous. Yeah. So I think majority vote is probably, especially as we look to add 2 more members.
Agree.
Keep that. Section 4, duties of officers. So the chair will be responsible for conducting the EDC meetings and the chief representative for the commission. The vice chair will act as the chair in the event that the chair is unable to fulfill duties. I think that is aligned with our expectations as well.
Yep.
Section 7 is the next highlighted item. Appointments by the mayor. Vacancies and removal. Appointments by the mayor to fill vacancies shall be for the remainder of the unexpired term. A member may be removed by the chair of the EDC if the member is absent from 3 consecutive meetings without a prior excuse submitted to the chair or the vice chair. Any member removed from the commission can appeal the removal to the city council. Chuckling because if that happens, we got some drama on our hands.
You think?
I have no issue with that. That word.
So, yeah, I mean, if you like that wording, it's, I think kind of what it boils down to is, do you want to give do you want to give the power to the EDC chair, or do you want it to be a majority vote, or, there's two questions there, it seems like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
What do you think, King Lawson?
let me put my crown on for a sec. I think, we'd also maybe it's not, removed by the chair, but it's,
The other members of the committee.
By
a
majority vote
by
or?
majority or like motion, like, I'm trying to think of almost like filtering it through the chair so that it is a committee-based decision, but it's not as if anyone at any time could motion to remove someone, is kind of where I'm getting at.
Well, one way you could do it honestly is that what we could state is that the chair has the power to call a vote on recommending to city council to remove the member. They're the ones who remove it, but you all make the motion, or either you recommend to city council as the chair, or you get the power to call a vote on it to recommend to city council that they be removed.
Okay.
So it's a referral.
Yeah, I like the latter of that, the power to kind of recommend or to put it up to a vote.
Okay,
Would the vote need to be, is there any certain majority the vote has to be? Is it unanimous? Is it majority of the chair?
in ordinance, all decisions by the EDC or simple majority vote.
That works. If we could use the word power in the language as much as possible,
Power. Okay,
often.
I'll work it in.
And then is everyone okay with the ability of the said removed member to appeal their removal to the city council? I think that is a nice backup plan, or
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I hope that happens at some point.
Everyone uncomfortable.
Yeah,
The reinstated.
invite my wife to that one instead of watching Bravo. Voting, Article 4. Each member of the commission shall be entitled to one vote on all issues presented at regular and special meetings at which the member is present. Ex officio member shall not have a vote.
Agreed.
Sounds good.
You did a good job skimming all of the possibilities over click though, to add in language. I hadn't even thought about that.
Article 5, meetings. Regular meetings is section 1. The commission shall meet on a monthly basis. Yep. You read our minds. And special meetings. Special meetings may be held as necessary and may be called by the chair with concurrence of 3 other members. Persons calling a special meeting shall fix the time and location for the meeting. Is 3 other members sufficient, or that, I mean, that would technically be a majority with the chair.
Mhm.
So I think that works. We haven't necessarily had the need for special meetings, I don't believe.
I think we, have some informal.
Which have been reported to the city recorder in the event of quorum.
It is.
Section 3 is notice and access to meetings. Notice of all meetings shall be given to the city recorder, all members of it, and ex officio members in accordance with Oregon state law on open meetings and with the Americans with Disabilities Act. So as long as we stick with our monthly cadence, the only time this would be applicable would be for special meetings.
Yeah, basically what this says is if you need to call and you all agree to call, a majority agree to call a special meeting, you need to work with the city recorder to properly notice it and make, public notification about it. Special meetings can't be behind closed doors.
Skipping down then to Article 6, subcommittees. Pro-turn subcommittees. Pro-turn subcommittees may be appointed by the EDC chair. Members of the pro-turn subcommittees shall serve until the work of the subcommittee is complete or until their successors have been elected or appointed.
Chair Lawson, if I might, you get to ask, you get to, if you even want subcommittees,
If we want.
if you even want subcommittees,
Oh.
do you want subcommittees? And then if you do,
Can I ask, forgive me for my ignorance here, what is pro term?
well, we know what grade in Latin Eric got, and didn't, don't we?
My word clues are,
It simply means temporary.
you know, temporary. Okay,
Not
so
government speak, it has to be
Right,
government.
right.
speak.
The lawyer wouldn't like it.
Right.
Pro term subcommittees, I think, I also want to be forward thinking with a lot of these too,
Right.
as the city evolves.
Can you think of some examples where we might want this?
As a matter of fact, what immediately comes to mind is a downtown subcommittee. So you have 3 people on the EDC who are specifically really active on that. Particularly with increasing to 7 members, you have more people with more expertise and you can kind of take on more things. But the nice thing about having subcommittees, if you do, is that you can kind of have the 3-point people who are really focusing on that. Doesn't mean everybody can't be involved, but a subcommittee of 3 for instance, completing the downtown business database so that one person isn't just doing it or it isn't falling through the cracks with everybody. You kind of have that group of 3 sort of thing.
Project team sort of thing. Yeah. Okay, then I think that would be good to have.
And maybe if I agree, sounds like this is a good addition. Could we add this to the agenda maybe for next time or about some of the subcommittees we might want to get started this year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I figure you wouldn't be all done with this tonight. I don't know how you want to get input from other members. And this has to go to city council when you finish it for them to consider and adopt by resolution. But oh heck yeah, you have all kinds of opportunity to do that.
Speaking of that, I think once we go through each item, I think it's best to essentially save as a copy of what we discussed and then run that by our other fellow committee members that aren't present tonight, just so we can all be aligned before officially submitting our recommendations. Subcommittee officers, each subcommittee shall have a chair appointed by the Economic Development Commission chair. Subcommittee chairs can appoint a subcommittee vice chair as needed.
Boy, that leaves a 3rd guy out, doesn't it?
What if that subcommittee, indulging here, what if that subcommittee has a subcommittee of itself? Would the chair of the subcommittee? I'm done. All right. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Subcommittee meetings, section 3, meetings of each subcommittee may be called by the chair of such a committee. Notice of such a meeting shall be given to all subcommittee members at least 2 days prior to such meeting. A majority of all the subcommittee members shall constitute a quorum. Okay. An act of the majority of a quorum present at the subcommittee meeting shall constitute the act of the subcommittee. So as long as you have 2 members.
Let me ask, so do these subcommittee meetings also need to be matter of public record?
It's a new one on me.
Yeah.
We haven't ever had them, so I don't know.
I will check that. But one of the levels of review of this will be the city attorney, because it's going to be language going into a resolution that council will adopt. So there's always that review by the city attorney. My recollection, understanding of open meetings law has to do with a quorum of the body, but not necessarily a quorum of a subcommittee. If 3 city councilors want to have coffee about something, I believe they can,
They
because
can.
they're not a quorum.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that's a subcommittee.
Yeah.
An ad hoc subcommittee of city council effectively,
That is.
and they can
Sometimes
chat
it's
all they
not-
want.
not to be public.
It's when that 4th person bumps into them. Oops.
Yeah. I had
That's
to
the
ask
thing.
the attorney about the dinner.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because I was pretty sure we would be okay, but these days you just don't take any chances, and she said, you know, this is a social event. Hopefully they'll be mingling with other people and not all sitting at the same table together, you know, they see
Yeah.
each other enough. So I feel like we wouldn't have to, because there's not a quorum if even if it's a quorum of a subcommittee, it's not a quorum of the commission itself.
Right. But we would need to verify that.
Good question.
Yeah, thanks for making my brain work.
All right, all good on subcommittees then?
Yeah, good idea.
Article 7, amendments to bylaws. These bylaws may be amended or repealed, or new bylaws may be adopted by a simple majority vote of the members of the commission present at any regular or special meeting. Written notice of such proposed amendment, and the nature thereof shall have been given to the membership of the commission at least 7 days prior to the date of the meeting at which amendments are to be considered.
Yeah, I'm digesting that, that makes sense.
I do like that we would have the ability to amend the bylaws, but it's more of a well thought out process rather than something that can be easily changed. That, and the last one is Article 8, ratification. These bylaws and any amendments adopted by the EDC shall take effect after ratification and approval by resolution of North Plains City Council. So ultimately, once we are aligned with our missing committee members this evening, we would need to then ratify and approve through resolution by city council of these bylaws.
Mhm.
Okay, and that's the end of the bylaw. Then. Any topics you want to circle back to or dig into further?
I had a question about one of them. Am I on here?
We hear you.
So Article 3, Section 1 says no more than 2 members may reside outside the city limits. Is that where we were previously?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And right now we have one, so the 2 vacancies that you have, one can be an outside the city limits, but the other one has to be,
Because we
inside.
currently already have one.
yes,
Outside.
Jacqueline's outside.
Okay.
So,
And question, did those vacancies, are they posted after this is ratified?
no, they're already posted
They are
because
already-
the ordinance adding the additional 2 members
Okay.
was adopted by the council, so we can start recruiting anytime.
Mhm.
And was
By the
that
way.
adopted in December?
Yes.
Okay.
December 4th.
Okay.
Which means it becomes, I think we did first and second reading, right, in one meeting? So it's 30 days after the,
Oh, I wasn't at that, but the minutes, it was one.
yeah.
Yeah.
They actually did the first and second reading in one meeting, which can be done if the vote is unanimous on the first reading, then they can do a second reading the same night. And if it is approved, then it becomes certified 30 days after the date of adoption.
All right.
So that would be tomorrow.
So we're technically still a committee as of this evening. We're a commission.
Well, yeah, you're considering your bylaws,
Only on paper.
right?
It's not, but no, I mean, it doesn't become the
I mean-
commission until tomorrow.
I should
Well-
know this.
Look at his brains, just like,
I guess the way Lori's not incorrect. The way I would look at it is that anybody who wants to challenge the city council's decision on this has till tomorrow, but they have voted in the affirmative
there you go,
to adopt.
Yeah.
I guess that's how I would look at
sure. Huh. I do.
it. Yeah.
And then speaking of that, that was one topic I wanted to discuss was filling those 2 vacancies. We had talked about trying to focus on business owners within the city. We can, as applications come in, do we get notified or is it collected and then reviewed?
I can do whatever you want.
Okay.
I think you guys would probably like to see them as they come in. So far, we've gotten
Yeah,
big fat goose egg.
so we can do some
Recruiting,
advertising, kind of just getting the word out there. I'm assuming it's just on the EDC's website.
so it's posted on the website and then there's flyers posted outside of City Hall and at the post office and at Kim's Market, the same places that we public
Yeah.
post all of our meetings.
Okay.
And it's in the newsletter that you guys
Great.
should be getting this week,
Yeah.
if you get your water bill.
One other thing I might suggest, and I don't know if timing would work out, but would there be any way for one of them to like meet at the chamber luncheon and just say, we have 2
Sure.
EDC seats available and we'd really like at least one of them to be a business owner
That
or
would be
something like
great.
that.
Absolutely,
That,
yeah.
when is their next meeting and how would they get on the agenda?
It's usually the second Tuesday.
Tuesday. Cindy,
So next
Yes.
week.
It should be next week, next Tuesday, but I haven't gotten the e-bike yet, so I just.
So,
Okay, so thank you, Ron. That's really good info. So, if anybody was willing to show up to the lunchtime at the senior center meeting, we're speaking of the chamber, I think Cindy Hurst would, well, Russ Sheldon, counselor board or council chairman, President Sheldon is the president of the chamber. I don't think it would be difficult to say, can we get 2 minutes on the agenda to just,
you'd be happy.
we'd love to, we have 2 seats available and a business owner joining would be great.
Right.
And something to consider here under Article 3 membership, Section 1, the section you just asked about, Michael. If you want, you could throw in there language that isn't an ordinance, but you would like to throw on there, at least one member being a business owner is preferred, or something like that, if you just want to throw it out there. But either way, if somebody is able to show up next Tuesday at noon at the senior center, we'll try to get a couple minutes on the agenda for the chamber meeting.
I can do that.
Nice, okay. Actually, the city, you know what, it wouldn't be a deal. The city has a monthly city report portion of the agenda every single month. So there's no effort here. Somebody would just need to show up.
You're good. Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
I'll confirm, yeah, and it's normally at noon.
Mhm.
At the senior center. Lunch is available, I think you can purchase lunch for like $8,
Yeah.
something like that. I never know what it is ahead of time, do they announce it ahead of time?
No, I don't think so. It's
If they did.
whatever's there.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
Best to be surprised.
I think that'll be a great method for recruitment. If for, whatever reason that isn't as fruitful as we had hoped. We can definitely do some brainstorming on how we want to get the word out there. I do know, we did have 2 applicants. Michael, you were one of them. So when you applied, we had one other, Amy, she was my neighbor. And so I'll reach out to Amy and see if she would still be interested. Not a business owner, but at the very least, I feel pretty good about the chamber being able to find someone. that fills that business owner. I think one, kind of going back and forth in my head, I feel as though one might be sufficient for the time being, one business owner on the commission. If we have multiple, it would be, kind of a more perspective on it. But I'm just thinking again, like thinking out loud, if that might be too insightful, like if there's too many topics that might come up that business owners would want to focus on and work on. But
Well,
Could
and
be.
there may be a chance that business, whoever, if we do get some applicants who are business owners, they might not be residents, so that would
that's true.
limit that naturally.
That's true. If they, I guess we could look at the language, if they are not a resident of Incorporated North Plains, but they own a business that operates in Incorporated North Plains.
We can have one more of that, because that's considered, right?
Yeah, the residency restriction is ordinance.
Okay,
That trumps other things.
Mhm.
I mean, so I'll just give an example. I'm still on the Cornelius EDC. I have never lived there. I'm not saying I'm never going to, but I have no plans. But I do continue off and on. I don't get paid by them anymore because I work at the city of North Plains, but I do continue to be on the committee and just kind of give advice and I still technically am a business owner as a consultant for little assignments here and there, nowhere in Washington County. I'm one of the non-resident members and it works just fine. Or it can.
I think we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there, depending on who might be interested. Other items just quickly in the packet, kind of changing gears, land use applications, and then the staff report for December. So there's some good information in both cases. I'm interested to hear, Bill, I don't know if you have any updates, but I'm interested to hear. Well, Lisa, I believe, are you on the UGB subcommittee? With Chris,
The pack.
the PAC.
Yeah,
Have there any updates from that group or? Okay.
and I don't know what's appropriate to share.
Well, you all are citizens and citizen volunteers on this committee. Staff, we are city employees, and so our views are not
Relevant.
they're not relevant. But you all remember the EDC, part of the EDC's charge is to be an advocate. You might want to set up how you want to get updates from a pro UGB PAC or however, but you can certainly hear regular pro UGB updates from a PAC because the fundamental position of the EDC for a long time has been, its original charge was to support the urban growth boundary expansion. So that's sort of in the DNA of the body.
So I can give, I think Chris will have a better update. Since I talked to him last, he did attend the chamber luncheon, I believe in December, and just gave a little bit of information there, and it sounds like it went well from what I gathered. And otherwise, the committee has been divided up responsibilities to try to get things organized and in place to have a more synchronized effort on messaging and distribution of that message and how we want to work on sharing the word, I guess, about the positives of supporting the UGB. I think that, yeah, more or less is it. And then there are some pretty quickly, now we're in January, some pretty quickly coming dates since the primary is May 12th, I believe. Good, that's good.
The-
meeting.
14th.
The actual election,
Yeah,
14th.
14th, okay.
You want me to let them know about that meeting that's gonna happen here on the Sunday, in case they want to attend? And
Yeah, wouldn't hurt.
so we had, I don't specifically know who is renting the facility, but on Sunday, the 16th, I believe it is this month, there is a group that is anti-UGB that is renting the facility for, yes, for a, what did you call it?
Yeah, so that might be who they are, might be a little strong to say they're anti.
Oh. I just,
Well, it's funny because we're not really sure what the story is.
well, I just know whose name is on the application.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I know, and I don't think Lori's wrong, but we're learning more. The actual Tualatin Valley Soil and Water District, which does collect property tax revenue, and so, restrictions on political positions and such should be applying to them, have applied to rent this facility on, what was the date? Lori?
I'm pretty sure it's the Sunday, the 16th. I thought
Sunday
it
the
was pretty good.
16th.
It's on the city calendar already, so
Yeah.
you can pop on there and see it.
They are a property tax collecting government agency, strictly within Washington County. Okay, most of Washington County, but strictly within Washington County. They have rented it to screen a documentary about Oregon land use. Now, okay, we got the farm trust group that helps farmers put their properties in trust and keep them in the family and protect them from punishing taxes and things. They meet here semi-regularly, so no big deal. But what's curious is that I won't mention the name, but somebody who has been very visible at hearings, testimony against the UGB expansion at multiple hearings, was part of the signature gathering. That person is also on the agenda for the meeting to be part of discussion of current land use issues in North Plains. So I guess what we're doing is saying that folks who have whatever view of the UGB expansion, that meeting has been planned by the Tualatin Valley Soil and Water Conservation District. It's not a closed meeting. And so, if you care to attend, you care to attend.
Thank you. Okay, anything else to discuss? We can go back on the bylaws or gonna scroll back up here. Bylaws, vacancies, of that nature.
No, none for me.
We can discuss further, like we mentioned with Jacqueline and Chris when they return, hopefully next meeting in February. I also want to follow up with Chris on, Bill, I don't know if you would know from Vice Chair Barron. He was looking into establishing, is it a 503c(b) organization? Was that something? Have you heard anything regarding that?
Phil wants to know, I have not. A few months back, he had already put together, for the most part, bylaws for a downtown association. And it was just a matter of recruiting people to do it, to be on. And just as a refresher, the Oregon Main Street Association is kind of the state of Oregon, partly funded nonprofit that is the conduit for doling out both dollars in grants as well as downtown development and business development expertise. North Plains is at a stage of membership of that where we get to listen in and learn and potentially go to the annual conference wherever it is to learn even more. But if you want to start applying for grants and get different types of technical assistance and kind of like chase money to do things, you actually have to have a downtown association board and, you know, legally filed entity with bylaws. And then once you do that, you can enhance your membership in the Oregon Main Street Association to begin like really doing things. But you have to have that body in place first. And we just don't have it yet.
So that'll be just one item that I'll want to check in with Vice Chair Barron. We return on February. The 503B seat.
Rowan, would you happen to know?
I don't know the exact thing, but I can say, thinking back,
There you go.
thinking back to previous conversations I've had with Sherry, who runs Oregon Main Street. Since we are at the connected communities level, moving up, that application is open until January 31st this year. You don't have to have an independent nonprofit to apply to be at that level, as long as you're in the process
Okay.
of becoming independent or working on a city-based solution. Sherry doesn't love a city-based solutions, but there are several cities in Oregon that do their Main Street through that method. The main thing that I ran up against in my investigations of Main Street is that the ideal situation for Main Street is, whether you're city-based or nonprofit-based, they want a board of 9 members, which is quite rigorous for a city of our
Yes.
size. That was the main thing in talking with Andy and with Bill, that is quite a lot for a city of this size, and we weren't sure if we were ready for that, but that's something to look into.
I don't know if you know, are there any cities of our size that have that size board?
There are, I haven't been able to contact them as to how they generated that support, but it's something that I've been looking into.
Yeah, I mean, it's partly a question of who can be members, but I mean, I think what gives me pause about assuming we can be aggressive about it in terms of time is that you just have to have business owners on commercial that are fired up about this. And I can't say that anybody is. And so that's the challenge is, you know, I think some are open to the idea, but others are like Bertoni. I think he would think this is a great idea, but how much time does he have? And is he fired up to be a part of it? Well, that's a great question, sort of thing. But if you can kind of, you know, link up six businesses, get somebody from the library, because they're kind of a library, you know, the Library Foundation could be a member because they're a major attraction to downtown besides the businesses. You might be able to string 9, but in a few weeks, that might be a challenge.
Bill, Lori, Rowan, anything to add?
Not on economic development, but maybe grabbing a couple of you for some other discussions on city projects.
That's very ominous.
Maybe next meeting we'll have some more
Yeah.
concrete things to talk about.
Okay. Perfect.
I guess the only other update that you all might, you kind of have personally been involved in. Well, Lori, do you want to give the update on Amelia's? We heard from them recently.
Yes, they actually contacted me they're ready to apply for their liquor license.
Oh, all right.
Which is, that means they're getting pretty close.
Yeah.
Although I've been going to the acupuncturist right next door.
Uh-huh.
And as I'm laying there, I'm hearing a lot of hammers and a lot of,
You're hearing progress.
yes, so I'm not sure how far,
Yeah.
along they are. The one good thing is that, Carrie, who owns the acupuncture place, she said that Dave Vandehay, who's the owner, actually made it a point to put extra, insulation and all the way up to the top and stuff between all
sound
of them.
dampening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so they've at least started the liquor license process. I know our end is fairly minor, but when you deal with the state at that level, I'm not sure how long it'll take them to get through the OLCC, but at least they've started.
La Loteria, fairly recently went through that process.
They did, it
correct?
was, actually, it's been, almost 2 years.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I went back to look because there have been some changes in the process.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't done anything since theirs. And actually we did two at that time. We did La Loteria and we also did the Space Age, the little store there.
Oh,
They had to reapply because it was
Gotcha.
new owners.
Okay.
So we did those two at once. Basically, in a nutshell, what needs to happen is our chief of police needs to do background checks on them. And then once the OLCC is given their approval, it goes before council and council has to approve
oh, wow.
that
At
this
the state
business,
level?
that this business in our city, they agree that they should be having a liquor license. So,
Wait, you said the state checks off on the application, but then the final decision is city council.
yes,
Ours.
At the city level,
yes,
yeah.
city
okay,
level has the
okay.
final,
Good.
has the final say. So,
Fair amount of checks and balances then.
and the play place is moving along. I kind of feel like they wouldn't have as much to do inside because they don't have to put cooking equipment in and stuff. I see them there whenever I'm there and but I haven't, and she's gotten a business license, but I have not heard as of even an estimated open date, so.
I think last I heard was they were shooting for January. But
Hmm.
I would assume maybe a February,
Yeah.
March.
They might need a liquor license too.
Yeah.
Parents. if they-
I know I would if I was running that place.
I saw a mention of coffee and pastries in their posts on Instagram.
Oh, at the play place?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd have to be really good coffee for me. to-
Yeah, Hopefully they don't have a kitchen.
I barely like my own kid. I certainly don't like anybody else's. So, yeah, hopefully she's on track and it'll be
Right.
sooner rather than later.
And that reminds me, speaking of Instagram, for 4 days now, we have a City of North Plains Instagram account. So start tagging interesting photos. Yes.
Okay, wait, we.
Actually, there's four different accounts. Did you see that?
It's-
There's a city manager one. There's a North Plains city manager one.
Well, Andy can do what Andy does. Andy can Andy.
And then there's,
Just gonna put a GoPro on his bike helmet. and
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Today's kombucha day.
Yeah, so North Plains or OR, all one word together, and then it says city manager, and then there's the North Plains altogether,
Okay.
and then there's North Plains, Oregon.
I follow yeah.
Are these all the same or different?
No, they're different. I grabbed I'm following each one of them just because I can't tell who's,
Well, I should say, are any of these managed by the city?
Yes.
but I don't know which one. Do you?
Yeah, the one with the logo, City of North Plains, all one
City?
word.
Okay.
See, that one didn't even come up for me.
Yeah, City of North Plains.
So I'm
Yeah.
following 3 North
It-
Plains ones, but not the city of North Plains.
It's, yeah, it's all, it has the new city logo on it, and it's all one word, City of North Plains. Okay, and it has 2 posts right now. It has two
selfies,
followers,
so-
including me. Corinne and I are the 2 followers right now.
It's now got 3. Thank
Yeah.
you
Okay, there
very
you
much.
go.
Look at that.
And does the city moderate?
Corinne does.
Corinne, our
Okay.
communications, consultant does.
So if we wanted to partner with her on posting, potentially if there's, oh, I don't know, a vacancy on commission, we could do something.
You would contact me.
I think.
Okay.
City
I deal
recorder.
directly with her for most of that stuff. Andy handles the like UGB stuff and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, but oh, there we are.
Okay.
I'll follow that one too. I'm following forward,
You
you
just
know.
doubled your.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I just quadrupled followers.
That's
Does
awesome.
that make me an influencer?
It does.
Oh,
Keep
boy.
an eye out for the checks, so I'll start rolling it.
What's my good side?
Gotta help pay for that roundabout.
Right, but that. Maybe that's a topic for Corinne to come and talk to us about,
That
is
would
the
be good.
Instagram account, because
Yeah.
what I do like about Instagram is, when the Turtle Pond structure was completed,
Yeah.
and Blake, God bless him, ordered the turtles basking, please be quiet, turtles basking sign that's on it. I took a photo of that, things like that
Right.
could be tagged on Instagram, and when somebody searches for North Plains, they get a bunch of stuff.
Exactly, we can
So-
showcase
Mhm.
the beauty, the quirkiness of the city.
That's a good word.
Quirkiness.
Yeah.
All right, anything else from the commission?
No.
Okay. We'll go ahead and adjourn. 7:04 PM.
Excellent.
Thanks everyone on the line.